What up, what up, what up? It's your boy, Cardinal Red, and we back for some more of that Ali Land boxing talk. And today, we talking Floyd Mayweather, the death of boxing. Now, I know I'm going to get beat up by all the Mayweather fans and, you know, get called all type of names. You don't know nothing about boxing. But, I just wanted to touch on this with all the stuff surrounding Mayweather and the fight that was supposed to happen. I'm not gonna try to say the dude's name because I have no idea what it is. But the fight that was supposed to happen in Japan, and just the whole, the whole aura around Floyd Mayweather for the past few years, it's just not been good for the sport of boxing to me. When you got guys nowadays saying that it's more about the money than it is your legacy, and that the old fighters, they were stupid for giving so much to the sport, and then dying broke and with brain damage and, Parkinson's and stuff like that. I just feel like it's crazy, man. When you think about the old fighters, man, it wasn't about the money for guys like Ali. It wasn't a lot of money in boxing back then for people like Rocky Marciano and, just the older time fighters, man. I don't want to spout off names all day, but, these guys wasn't fighting to necessarily be billionaires or 100 millionaires. They were fighting for the love of the sport, and for legacy, for pride. They were fighting for a lot of them for their country, a lot of them for their people, for race reasons, trying to move people forward, trying to leave old stuff in the past. And nowadays, it's like, man, there's so much money involved in sports and sports in general that it's like, when you watch it's almost, I won't say that it's not like it's set up, but it's almost like it's set up now. It's like you watch it, you expect to get one thing, and it's always completely the opposite. It's more, I won't say always. Sometimes in boxing you do get what you were looking for, but most of the time, especially when it comes to the superstars in the sport, it's and in boxing in general, it's more like an exhibition. I feel like all sports are becoming like that. Football, basketball, it's more like exhibition sports now than actual full contact sports, like it used to be. And in boxing's taking a big hit in this department, man, because I'm one of the type of guys, and I hate to be like this because I know a lot of people, a lot of stuff's changed and it's not like it was, and you gotta evolve with the times. But I'm one of them type of people. I'm into boxing for the brutality of the sport. It is what it is. Boxing is a brutal sport. It's not meant to be, some slap boxing competition. It's meant to be hard. It's dangerous. It's meant to excite people, and it's meant to showcase physical skills and assets that all human beings don't possess. It's why everybody don't box. But nowadays, when you got boxers that are making hundreds of millions of dollars saying, man, I don't want to go in there and get my head knocked off. I'm not fighting this guy at this point in his career because he's too good and I don't want to get hurt. I'll just wait 2 or 3 years down the line until somebody else beat him. He fights somebody and they, mess him up real bad, then I fight him. When you got guys, for lack of a better word, ducking, when you're the biggest guy in the sport, and the biggest excuse for boxers right now, and this is why I love Pacquiao, so much, is because Pacquiao's honest. The biggest thing in sports right now that guys will tell you is, man, it's up to, I can't do it because my promoter won't let me. My promoter won't let me. My promoter this, my promoter that. But Manny Pacquiao, at least he's honest about it. He's like, man, Bob Arum make the fights. when he was with Bob Arum. So, I mean, he'll just tell you the truth. I don't make the fights. Bob Arum makes the fights. But these guys now, it's like an excuse. Man, I can't fight this guy because, I'm with this promoter. It's like they stick with these certain promoters so that they can avoid having to fight certain fighters. Terrence Crawford don't got to be at top rank, if the better fights are at PBC, he could finish out his go fight 5 more bums, finish out his contract, and go to PBC. Or just be honest about it. Like, man, there's nobody else. There's no real competition at top rank, so I can't fight the best fighters. I would rather them be honest about it than to keep lying to my face. They'll sit up and talk all this trash about how they're the best fighter and they're the best this. But they haven't fought anybody except the fighters that are on their certain promotional, the promotion, whatever promotional company they with, whatever fighters that promotional company represents is who they fight most of the time. And then every once in a while you'll get a cross promotional fight, but it's always one star and one bum because of the money situation. And there's got to be a side, and don't nobody want to take no pay cuts. And, who wasn't having these problems in boxing when Ali and them was around? Because the money wasn't the major factor. It wasn't, money was a factor, but I guess some guys was getting robbed so much. And let's just be honest, I guess some guys was getting robbed by their promoters so much and they obviously didn't care about the money because if they knew that they were getting robbed, why would they continuously letting themselves get robbed while taking all that punishment? You know what I'm saying? So I just don't. For me, boxing is boxing as I know it is completely dead. It might not be dead to the eyes of somebody who's only watched Floyd Mayweather and his career. I've got this. The boxers of this generation are like my second or third generation of boxers. I came in the 80s, so I got to see a lot of the old, what I consider old fighters now. And, it's funny to me when people say Mayweather has been the only draw in pay-per-view boxing. Mayweather, Mayweather is the luckiest man in boxing, put it that way. And if you want to tell the truth, not Muhammad Ali, but Mike Tyson started the pay-per-view. Floyd Mayweather nor Oscar De La Hoya didn't start the pay-per-view aspect of boxing. Mike Tyson started the pay-per-view aspect of boxing. Mike Tyson was the first cash cow of pay-per-view boxing. Let's get that straight off top. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why people say it's Floyd. Floyd is doing bigger numbers because there's more people got cable now than they did when Mike Tyson was at his prime. If the same amount of people had cable now, then as they do now, Mike Tyson would probably surpass Floyd Mayweather 2 or 3 times when it comes to pay-per-view sales. But that's neither here nor there. But Mike Tyson was the original cash cow in pay-per-view boxing. And when Mike Tyson's career kind of faded out, then you saw guys like Oscar De La Hoya's numbers pick up, And you saw guys like Roy Jones' numbers pick up. Floyd Mayweather he's only the cash cow of boxing because Oscar De La Hoya is no longer around and Roy Jones is no longer around. There were no more superstars. Those were the last 2 superstars when it came to boxing. There were other guys who had really big names, but when it came to actually selling events and, having such a massive crowd surrounding your name, the 2 biggest names at that time were Oscar De La Hoya and Roy Jones Jr. Floyd Mayweather was not a big name at the time Roy Jones Jr. was still selling pay-per-view events. He was relatively still unknown. He was selling events, but he wasn't selling like Roy was selling, and he wasn't selling like Oscar was selling. You can look at the numbers, and the numbers don't lie. But nowadays, it's like, anybody can tap a plumber on the chin and then say that they the best guy in boxing because they got some belt, or because they have a big fan base, or because they make $7-8 million a fight. It's no real competition in boxing, and I think that's what really is killing boxing. The competition is dead. You got all these guys claiming that they the best, yet you fought absolutely nobody. The only way to prove you the best is to fight everybody, and it has to go cross promotional. It can't be, well, I fought everybody at PBC, so I'm the best. But then that's 2 or 3 or 4 guys at top rank, and 1 or 2 guys at with Eddie Hearn and DAZN that you never even attempted to fight. You don't even utter their name, but you keep calling yourself the best, and it's happening. It's happening so much nowadays, and I blame this on Floyd. All this is because of Floyd. Get my dryer going off. All this is because of Floyd Mayweather, and what money did to boxing. When he started making those type of numbers, he started showing guys that you don't actually have to fight the best to make the money you want. You can actually be an entertainer. You can be just entertaining and sell the fight, and not actually have to put up a physical fight. This is what Floyd Mayweather did to boxing. To me, he's ruined the sport because he's taken the physicality out of boxing, and he's made it all about dollars, all about number signs, and I just don't like boxing that much. I love boxing, but I only love certain boxers there. There's certain boxers I don't even give them the time of day because, I already know you ain't fighting nobody. You gonna win. And I can just catch the highlights. Why am I watching? Why am I wasting my time? Going waste my time watching your fight when I already know what's gonna happen? It's not really entertaining, man. But I'm gonna go ahead and go ready to cut this short, man. I might make a part 2 of this because my buzzer keeps going off over here. That's Ali Land Boxing Talk for now, man. We're gonna get back into this discussion really, really soon, man. Floyd Mayweather, the death of boxing. And we out of here.